Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, over the past few months, I have made a few references to some health issues that I was going on. And, now I slowed down on making videos for a while that had to do not only with my health issues, not so much as the midterms and holidays and schedule and a number of things that were happening that I just decided it was better to slow down on it for a little while because it wasn't going to get much attention. So I had debated making this video at all and thought about putting it on my presidential campaign channel, but people are weird. If I mentioned it, then it might draw some people off. Oh, you're not healthy enough to be president. Never mind, Bernie Sanders had a heart attack while he was campaigning. And remember the fact that Joe Biden, back in the 1980s, had 2 brain aneurysms that almost killed him, and he had to have brain surgery. Well, I'm not going through any brain surgery. And, and people have always referred to me as a freight train. So I keep going, even when I shouldn't. I've had doctors yell at me for not being in the hospital. So I'll explain what has been going on with me and why I'm making this video at all. All right, so I've got irritable bowel disease. There's a debate right now whether it's ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, or pancolitis, meaning something going on with the entire intestines. Now, I was diagnosed 10 years ago. I'm not as bad off as a lot of people with this same condition. Many people are in much worse condition than I am. But that said, recently, when my doctors looked at my labs, my primary doctor, an oncologist, and the GI doctor, they're kind of treating me with a bit of respect, just for the fact that I've been still up and walking and functioning and not complaining very much. Some of my inflammation labs and my 28 years of nursing, one of those labs was the highest I've ever seen, and they did a calprotectin level. Reference range is below 50. Mine was over 1,000, and that earned a call from my GI doctor this morning because she was just checking in on me with that. So, but I'm doing quite well at the moment. All right, so with this irritable bowel disease, I've had imaging and tests and things like that, which have run into thousands of dollars. I'm supposed to have another test later on this year that's going to cost thousands of dollars. And my GI doctor is already talking about the possibility of moving me to other medications that cost $4,000 to $9,000 per month. A lot of people with this condition are on these medications. So why am I talking about all this? Why would I put this out there? This is to let other Americans with chronic health issues know that I can absolutely relate and understand, even with insurance. 10 years ago, one of the medications that the doctor recently started me on, a GI doctor, had ordered this medication for me. At that time, I did have insurance. The cost of the medication at that time was $530 a month. The insurance would pay 50 of that. I was not in the financial position to pay $480 a month at that time. Right now, the same medication has come down in price. Right now, it's only $350 a month. Plus, I'm getting iron infusions, which are over $600 a month, which was a relief because I had seen quotes for iron infusions costing as much as, $660 per dose for 2 doses. It was a relief. I've seen quotes on iron infusions costing as much as $3,000. Even my GI doctor or the oncologist expected that it was going to cost about $1,200 per dose. Right now, I can afford it, but I'm not going to say that it's not having an impact. All of this means that I can understand and relate to people with chronic conditions that are suffering, and people are skipping medications because they cannot afford it. Things for high blood pressure, insulin for diabetes, irritable bowel disease, such as I've got, other autoimmune conditions, all of these things. And under the system that we have, even if you have insurance, you're paying for it every month. You're still going to have to meet a deductible of thousands of dollars per year. My employer says I can sign up for insurance in April, so I'm going to have to do that, which is going to take away from my income, and then I'm still going to have to meet a deductible before they're going to pay for anything else. People are making the decisions whether to buy their medications, keep a roof over their head, or buy food. So this leads to even worse outcomes for these people. The diabetic winds up with diabetic ketoacidosis. They wind up in the hospital, possibly in diabetic coma, in ICU on an insulin drip, and then that cost gets shifted, and you and I wind up paying for it, or they wind up in bankruptcy, and then they get released from the hospital, and they're still not able to afford the medications to keep them from winding up in the same position a few weeks or months down the line. It happens over and over. The diabetics or people with high blood pressure can wind up with kidney failure, loss of eyesight, loss of limbs. I'm not in any condition where those things are going to happen to me. About the worst that happened to me was loss of appetite, loss of weight, and pain. Had a lot of pain for a little while there. So, but that is all past me for the moment. But I do not approve of this system. We have one of the worst medical systems of any developed country on the planet. Every time that we even discuss implementing universal health care such as other countries have, it gets fought by the insurance industry and even the American Medical Association. The medical field, medical schools limit the number of graduates per year so that to restrict the number of doctors in this country so that doctors get paid more. They are part of this. Hospital systems are part of this. The drug companies are part of this. Really? $9,000 a month for a medication. Or just $350 a month. How many people would not be able to afford that medication? A few years ago, I would not have been able to afford this medication. And what condition would I have been in if I had run into this situation a few years back? Luckily, until recently, I didn't have any condition, a flare-up of my condition that was as serious. And but I'm very happy with where I am at right now. I'm getting very good medical care, but I can afford it right now. But who's to say what the future is going to bring? I don't know if a year from now I'd still be able to afford it. If I change employers and my insurance is dependent on my employer, then I'm going to wind up with a gap. And then I'll have to change insurance companies. And even if I had met my deductible with my former insurance company, then I'm going to have to start all over again. For a short while there, I went through quite a scare, largely financial, part and my health. I wasn't sure if I was going to need surgery. I got referred to an oncologist, and so I was cleared. I didn't need any surgery. No sign that I will in the future. I've been cleared by the oncologist. No sign of cancer. Just a lot of inflammation going on. And so I've been regaining the weight that I had lost, and I'm doing a lot better. But what experience would another person have that's making minimum wage? They wouldn't be able to do this and keep a roof over their head or food on the table. No matter what I go through, I'm always looking at what other people are going through. Remember when Joe Biden did have those brain aneurysms and he had to have life-saving surgery for them? He was in Congress. You know who paid for his care? You and I did. There was absolutely no risk to him that he was going to make the choice between keeping a roof over his head or food on the table. There was no chance that he was going to go bankrupt from having to pay the medical bills, because you and I, if you're old enough, paid for it. Well, considering the national debt, I guess we're still paying for it. A few months ago, my best friend had a terminal brain tumor. She had to have a craniotomy, part of her brain removed, but she died, and radiation, chemo, but she died while she was on her deathbed. She was receiving bills that the insurance had not paid. $10,000 here, $12,000 there, $20,000 somewhere else that the insurance did not pay. Over 2 million Americans every year, and this is counting from 2019 for the last 3 years. Who knows what the number is, but over 2 million Americans per year declare bankruptcy because of medical bills. This is something that does not happen in other developed countries that have universal health care. Can other candidates for the presidency understand these situations? I mean, if my condition were worse, I could have wound up right there. I could have wound up needing surgery I couldn't afford, or radiation, or chemo, and etc. Unable to work, unable to earn a living. What would have happened to me? I have no idea. I can relate to all the people that have chronic conditions. I can relate to the people that declare bankruptcy or have fear of declaring bankruptcy or fear of losing the roof over their head or not being able to feed themselves. I can understand all of this. I've been through these situations. This latest thing was not a wake-up call for me. I've been a nurse for 28 years, and I've seen untold number of people in the same situation. Joe Biden and other people that are in Congress that are running for office, if they run into a health issue that winds up being highly expensive, you and I are paying for it. Other people, millionaires and billionaires, can they understand your fears, anxieties, concerns? Donald Trump, Michael Bloomberg, just the list goes on and on. But these people have resources they cannot understand, and they are not going to be concerned with what your health issues are, whether you wind up in bankruptcy. But the bankruptcies even have a downstream effect. If a person owes you money, you own a small business or whatever, and that person declares bankruptcy, there's a very good chance that you're not going to get paid. If that person is permanently disabled, even if they declare bankruptcy, you're just going to have to write off that debt, period. It affects you in ways that you cannot imagine. But I understand all of it. I understand everything, all of the fears, anxieties, the economic turmoil, the suffering that other Americans go through. So, some people might think that me coming out with this openly while running a presidential campaign is a bad idea. And I say the opposite. Because many times, if another person running for office or in office has a health issue, it's unquestionable that Joe Biden does have dementia, they're going to try and hide it. We don't know if Donald Trump has any health issues. It's hidden. It's not going to come out. So, first, they cannot relate to the situation that you're in, and then if they have a health issue, they're going to hide it. You're not going to know unless it becomes an absolute crisis which disables them from functioning. My condition can be controlled with medications, even if they're expensive medications, but it can be controlled. It'll cost money, but I never lose sight of where I've come from and where millions of Americans are. So I hope that this actually clears a lot of things up and gets more attention from people, because you can be here. You may be completely healthy right now, but what about a year from now? You could be in a car accident. You could develop diabetes, hypertension, IBD, irritable bowel disease, etc. Many other things can happen. And what is your future from that point on? If you have a health issue and you have employer-based health insurance and you get laid off or change jobs, then what effect is it going to have on you economically, financially? I understand that. I will never stop understanding that. I will never lose sight of any of that. So, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign. And thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.